Well, hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. We're talking about the Nancy Guthrie case, who has on its 45th or 46th day now. And some things I noticed that I wanted to go over you with tonight, talking about. I used to think that Nancy may have never have visited the door, like came to the door for this alleged perpetrator. Now I'm thinking it may be possible, and I'm going to explain why. Also, it went farther than you think. I'll explain all of that on the other side of this.
I've walked through storms in scars and grace. Smile through pain with a painted face.
Appreciate you, lovey.
They call me too loud, too much, too strong. But honey, that's the reason I belong. Every scar's a scripture, every tear's a hymn. I found my worth where the light grew dim. They tried to break me, but here's a twist. I turned my pain into a clenched fist. I'm an unbreakable woman, born of fire and pearl. I shine like grace in a reckless world. You can test my faith, you can shake my plan, but I'll rise again. Just watch me
Yeah.
I've been whispered about and written off, judged by the gloss, not the cost. But God don't build weak hearts from gold. He made me fierce and he made me bold. I bend, I pray, I roar, I rise with mascara, tears and battle cries. Don't need your crown, I forge my own. From ashes, honey, I build my throne. I'm an unbreakable soul, dressed in truth and pearls. The fire don't scare me, it lights my world. You can doubt my voice, but you'll hear my name. I'm holy and hood, and I'm done with shame. For everyone called too much, too loud, too real. You're not to anything. You're exactly what power looks like. I'm an unbreakable soul, through the fight and flame. My scars are stories, my strength, my faith. Faith in my heart, fire in my curls, forever divine. Clutch them pearls.
Coming in clutch, better tighten them pearls, dropping cold facts. Got the truth for the world, no smoke, no fluff, just the real that we trust. Hold on to your seat, cause I'm coming in clutch. Coming in clutch, better tighten the pearls, dropping cold facts. Got the truth for the world, no smoke, no fluff, just the real that we trust. Hold on to your seat,
Hey,
cause I'm
how you
coming in
doing?
clutch.
Thank you so much, my dear. Appreciate you very much. Good to see you, babe. And thank you so much, Donnie. My love. Oh,
Coming in clutch. Coming in clutch, better tighten the pearls, dropping cold facts. got the truth for the world. No smoke, no fluff, just the real that we trust. Hold on to your seat, cause I'm coming in clutch. Coming in clutch.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Good to see you all. Thank you all so much for joining me. Y'all, while I was playing this intro, I think my battery I have 2 cameras, and I just recently got a new one, but my old camera, I still like it, but I think it's going out, and that's the camera I just did my last live stream with, and it went out, and I am like, while the intro is playing, I'm like plugging in cameras and all that. Good to see you all. Thank you all so much for joining me. Appreciate you guys being here. Today we're talking about the Nancy Guthrie case. I want to go over some things with you guys about this case. Also, we're going to talk about the blood. Blood. Notice something, and had a discussion with some people on Facebook about this. The blood went out a lot further than I recall. I seen some pictures today that I didn't realize the blood went out as far as it did. And last night we were looking at, well, like we have before, the photo of this alleged perpetrator, or the person that, the perpetrator here. And he was doing something funny with his hand. Was he trying to take the camera off at that time, or was he ringing the doorbell? Kind of makes me wonder now. I never thought Nancy came to the door. I'm still not sure. Still not convinced, but we're going to have a conversation about it. Sheriff Nanos is getting the heat to him today. He is getting the heat, and they have called for him to step down. A lot on that as well. Last night, we were looking into the history of Nanos, and boy, has there been a lot of scandal. I'm going to tell you more today about before he was the sheriff of Pima County, his first job, and other things. We're going to talk about that as well. Guys, before we get started, if you would be so kind and please hit that thumbs up button, would be so thankful, so grateful if you would do that, and share the live out. Would greatly appreciate that as well. Also, if you haven't subscribed yet, consider subscribing. I know everyone always asks you to do that, but you're an adult. You can make that decision, but I would appreciate it if you would consider subscribing to the channel. Good to see everyone in chat. Thank you all so much for joining me. Hello, Miss Sharon, Tina, Lucko, Natural. Good to see you. Leslie, Linda, Janice. Does blood look wide? What do you mean wide, my dear? Thank you, Little Black Bear, Miss Ginger, Baby Kisses, Sherry, Daily. Good to see you, Anna. Good to see you, Ann. Peace of all to Jesus. Peace of Jesus to all, rather. Lexi, Brandy, and Indy. Anna, good to see you all. Good to see everyone. Hello. I think she may be widespread. Maybe. Holly, thank you so much for becoming a member, my friend. Really do appreciate that. Good to see you. Oh, welcome, Holly, to the Pearl family. Thank you so much, Holly. And Kimchi, very generous of you, my dear. Thank you so much for gifting 2 pearl necklaces. Really do appreciate that. Good to see you, my friend. Thank you so very much for your support. And Kelly, good to see you, babe. Thank you so much for becoming a member and gifting a membership. Really do appreciate that. Thank you so much for your support, my dear. Connie, 9 months. We just made our first baby together. Love you, Dustin, on this channel. Thank you, Miss Connie. Love you too, darling. Appreciate you. Hopefully you and yours are doing well. Hey, my friend Scouts. Good to see you, baby. Thank you so much. Don't forget to hit the like and support that. Thank you so much, Scouts. Good to see you, my friend. Hopefully you and yours are good. Really, really do appreciate that. All right, guys, a lot to talk about. Also, um, one of these contractors, I've shown a picture before, the electrician. I got some more information on that. I don't know if I can show it or not, but it's really interesting. Uh, oh, is ICU in here? I need to check something, but I'm telling you, his goatee looks really interesting to me. And not only does his goatee, his eyes and his lips, his eyes and his lips. And I'm still really curious about this electrician. Very curious about the electrician. They're also saying, which I think Daphne and I had a live on this the other day about the family saying cleared, cleared. What do y'all think about that? Going to go over some interesting things tonight. So make sure you hit that thumbs up button. We greatly appreciate it. And let's get to it, shall we? Okay. So first, I want to go over before we get into the meat and potatoes of it. Um, I want to show you a couple things. Look at this. Look at this. So we've obviously seen this video before, but I want to show you something before he starts out, when he starts out here. Okay, he puts his hand up there and watch his hand. Watch it really closely. Is he? Watch his thumb. Watch his thumb particularly. You know what I was thinking? You know what I'm thinking here? Have you for us older folks in the chat, well, not even older, they still have them today. I don't know what I'm thinking, Justin. Uh, you guys remember, or like the peepholes? Who remembers the peepholes? You look through. Remember those? Put a one in the chat if you know what the peephole is. Like you're at a hotel or something. Like you're at a hotel or something. Okay. Yes, or a one. Either, yeah, either whatever. Okay. You have a peephole. Okay. So, yeah, we have been thinking the whole time, and I do believe that he's not wanting to show his face here as well. But what if he is putting his hand there so the person can't see who it is as well? It looks like almost he is hitting the button. He's hitting the button to sound the alarm as well. You know how we used to cover up the peepholes? We would do like this or whatever. Remember that? Watch it again. And the reason I'm saying this is because I've really not thought that Nancy would come to the door. Does the door have a peephole? I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it does, but I'm talking about using the camera. I'm using the peephole as an example of him covering it up, the camera. But he does that, and then he looks like he's hitting the button almost. But then I'm going to show you the blood as well. And it makes me wonder if she actually did come to the door. If she actually did come to the door. Now, I'm still not convinced she came to the door, but it does make me wonder after all of this. It does make me wonder after all of this. So you get what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah. I don't think there is a peephole on the door, but I'm saying like he's doing this to the camera to potentially think like, oh, it's blocked. It's like that, like it's blocked or whatever. But hope I didn't just smeared. Yes, Cindy, and yes, we're going to talk about that. So watch this. Let me make this bigger. Watch what he's doing with that thumb, particularly. Watch this. Is he? Because this makes me wonder. I thought maybe he was trying to remove it here. And maybe he is. We don't know the mind of this dude. Right? But I was thinking, remember Megyn Kelly when she did the video and they were trying to take it off the bracket or remove it? What did the camera do? Right? It jiggled. It jiggled because they're trying to get off the bracket. Here it's not doing that. It's not moving at all. Even if you just slightly move the bracket or pull on the camera, it's going to move a little bit. We don't see that here. You know what I mean? I do believe it was snug. I do believe that. But just think about, because Megyn Kelly, damn, let me pull up this video. I wasn't planning on it, but let me just go ahead and pull this up because I want to show you. So I just want to really explain myself good here. So you guys will get it. Let me show you Mob Crew played this. All right. So you'll get it here. What I mean, because I've really been thinking into this, and I want to hear what you guys have to say about this. So credit's going to go to Mob Crew, our friend Mob Crew. Now watch this.
But when comparing the still image to the video, we can see that this person is not wearing a backpack, nor the holstered gun. So the big question is, was this the same intruder, taken from the same night? And if so, when was this still image taken?
Okay, so now that there's even more reports that it's different nights. We got that. Okay. Now just follow me right here. Wait a second.
Camera.
Watch this. Watch.
Okay, Megan, I've installed the Nest doorbell camera on our door to the garage here. And what's interesting is it comes with a little tab, just a little flat tab, almost like a tip of a screwdriver, really. And that's how you remove it from the top. So you just push down and it clicks right off.
Now notice, when the guy handled the Nest camera,
Watch this.
it moved its view ever so slightly. This is important for later.
Now, Mob Crew, he is showing this right here. Now, you see that this guy is trying to take off the camera, right? And Mob Crew talked about how it moved before. Now think about this. You got to follow me. You got to really follow me right here for it to make sense. Let me just go back so I can really. All right, watch this because you might get it a little bit better, especially if people hasn't seen this. Watch how the camera is in two different angles, right? That's going to be important for later. Mob Crew pointed this out. But the point I'm going to be making here in a minute is it should have moved if he was trying to remove it right there at the doorbell. We'll get deeper into it. Guys, hit that thumbs up button if you're just joining us. Appreciate you all being here. Yeah, let's go.
Doorbell camera disconnects. At 2:12 a.m., software detects a person on a camera, but there's no video available. They had no subscription, and therefore it would rewrite itself.
Okay.
2:28, Nancy's pacemaker app shows that it was a disconnect from the phone. Discovers her missing, and at 12:03 p.m., 911 is called in to the Pima County Sheriff's Department.
On February 10th, FBI Kash Patel would release 3 short videos and a still image, shown here. But when comparing the still image to the video, we can see that this person is not wearing a backpack, nor the holstered gun. So the big question is, was this the same intruder, taken from the same night? And if so, when was this still image taken?
Okay. Can we all agree this is most likely the same person, right? But look at the outlines. Okay, we know we've spoken about this before. The door is differently aligned. The tile is differently aligned. The outside is differently. It's lighter and darker. The plant is not lined up. All of that. Okay, you can see that this has been moved.
If you look closer, you will notice that the archway and the tile don't quite match up. And no, neither the video or the image has been altered in any way. I believe this still image likely came first, and here's my theory on why that is. Here is a short video by Megan Kelly, who did an experiment with the same kind of Nest camera.
Watch this. Watch.
Okay, Megan, I've installed the Nest doorbell camera on our door to the garage.
Okay, now you see that Nest camera, right? Megan's Nest camera right there. I have a bracket. I have a battery one just like this, right? The bracket's up there good, but it still has a little give, even just a little, millimeters. Even if you force it, it's going to move a little bit, right? If you're not pulling it off the bracket the right way, if you don't know how to pull it off the bracket the right way, it's going to move a little bit. And that is indeed what it did. The bracket moved before Nancy went missing. The bracket moved because the tile is different, right? The doorway is different. The plants don't align up. This clearly moved the camera. It clearly moved. Okay. We're following? Okay.
Here. And
watch this.
What's interesting is it comes with a little tab, just a little flat tab, almost like a tip of a screwdriver.
If you don't push that tab in the thing, it won't come off the bracket, right? It won't come off the bracket. So it's almost like a key to the bracket. Because if you just keep pulling, it's possible the bracket could come off, even though it may not, right? Hey, Miss Tina, thank you so much, my dear. Appreciate you. I really enjoy your channel. You have the kindness attitude. Thank you for being kind. Aw, thank you so much, Miss Tina. Sending blessings to you and everyone attached to this channel. Well, I appreciate that, Miss Tina. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for those kind words. I really do appreciate it. And you just make yourself at home here. And really do appreciate you and your input and those kind words, right? Right. Whether it's a ring, a nest, they're all very, very similar. Very, very similar. Regardless, it doesn't matter what the brand. What matters is if it's moved, it's moving, right? It's live or it's recorded. Regardless, it's going to move. If you give pressure to it, and clearly, when he was there without his backpack, he moved this camera, and it was because it's different before Nancy went missing versus when he came up to the door.
Really.
Okay.
And that's how you remove
watch
it
this.
from the
Watch
top.
it move.
So you just push down and it clicks right off.
Okay.
Now notice.
Okay. Now this is my thing. You see before while he's putting it in that bracket, while he's putting it in there, or regardless where he's trying to pry it off. Okay. Where he's trying to pry it off. Let me see if I can. Maybe it's right here. You're going to see it move because there's pressure right there, right there. He's not got it in yet. He's just moving it with his fingers. See how he's moving it with his fingers? He's moving it with his fingers. That's the thing. That's the thing I'm saying. He's moving that camera with his fingers. Even though it's on the bracket, it's that little bit of pressure. That little bit of pressure, right? Before you insert the key or you're trying to pull it off. That's what I'm talking about. Right there. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Now, right here, well, actually, no, I need to go back to this, actually. 1 second. So I can show you this. Check this. Okay. Here we go.
There it goes. So it pulls right off that way, and that's how you take it off to charge it, because it is battery powered. It needs to be
Brackets
charged
are
every so
almost
often.
identical.
There's no wires here. And you'll see
Not
this
done.
plate
Not done.
looks exactly like the
Finish.
one that you see on the house at Nancy Guthrie's house and all the
Yes.
news videos. So it's the same model. And
that?
to put it back,
See
you
that
just
little pressure?
click it on its
Very
base.
important.
The question is, how do you get it off without the tab? And I was excited because you said
Watch
we could
this.
smash this if we wanted to, and you'd pay for it. But
What?
you don't need to do that. You actually, just with a little bit of force.
See, okay. You see that? You see that? Right there. He's getting it off without the key thing. See, he's taking it off. But what is he doing? It's moving. It's moving regardless. If you are putting any kind of pressure without that thing, the camera is going to move a little bit while you're wiggling it. Right? Yes. All right. Pay attention.
You can pull it right off, and the base is still there,
The
undamaged.
bracket's still going to be there.
And actually, this camera is still recording. So if I take this and throw it
Okay.
or put it in my bag, it's still going to be recording for a little bit longer. So I got to think there's still video of that they haven't recovered that might show a different angle of things that we haven't seen. There's no evidence that it was damaged on the front porch. So my guess is it was just taken out of Wi-Fi range, and that's why it disconnected. Or they could have turned her Wi-Fi off. But
So remember how I mentioned that the still image versus the
Okay,
video
what?
seemed
What's
off, where we can see that the archway and the tile on the floor do not line up, shown here.
Okay. So clearly these are 2 different days. That's different darkness outside, right? You can't see the full door here. You can see the full door here. You can see more tile here. You can see less tile here, and the tiles are not they're not lined, right? Something that is fixed, right? Something that is fixed on a bracket. This is not a camera that moves or anything. It is a fixed camera. It does not move, right? It doesn't move. What if this camera wasn't messed with either, or if this camera wasn't messed with the night the guy it was there at Nancy's while he's scouting out the place. If it wasn't messed with, the cameras would be the same. You would be able to see both doorways the same, both tiles the same, both plants the same. Everything would be the same. But clearly it was messed with, right? Now, I think maybe he went there to pull off the camera. He could have went there to pull off the camera before the crime happened, right? It would take you a minute to get another doorbell, perhaps. Whatever. But regardless, he messed with it that night. It's different. Okay. Which means it may have been coming off that bracket. It may have been coming off that bracket, but that's not really the point.
I believe the still image came first, and the intruder tried to originally take it off by hand, but was unsuccessful in doing this. But in the process, they changed the direction of the Nest camera ever so slightly, just as seen in the experiment video.
Oh, sorry, I was muted.
I
was going to say, watch that bracket because he's got his hand there and he's trying to remove it with his hand.
In the experiment video.
And the camera's
You
moving
can clearly see that
bit.
in the still image it is darker and there is no lighting, but in the video we can see the intruder's shadow now, meaning there is some kind of light source coming from outside the front porch.
There's more. There's more.
I will now go over my theory that there is proof that there were indeed 2 intruders caught on the Nest camera. But before I do that, I need to break down all the videos and the still image in the order of events. This will be very important as to why I think the FBI and other agencies might be withholding certain information from the public. So here is the 3 videos and image released by the FBI. Now here they are in the order I believe they happened, and pay close attention. So we have the still image that I believe came first, where I believe they first attempted to take the camera down but was unsuccessful.
Yes, they tried to take that camera down. It was unsuccessful. Now, let's go to the perpetrator's video and watch again. Watch his hand closely. I'm going to make it as big as I can right here. Watch his hand closely, what he's doing with his hand. First of all, you see right there, watch him. He looks like he is getting ready, just my opinion, something I noticed, may or may not be. He looks like he's getting ready to subconsciously knock. Watch him how he goes at it, and then he goes toward the camera. You know how like you get ready to knock? It was like he was almost subconsciously getting ready to knock, and then he goes. Watch this. There he goes. Watch some of these things. Because I've been really studying over this. Watch. There he goes. Like he's going to knock, but then he goes right there. Okay. Now, second thing. Watch his hand. Watch his hand here. Now, he is got his hand up there. Now, in my opinion, he could be covering the camera to be like, I'm not going to show you my face or whatever. That's one thing, but that's not the main point I want to show you. The main point is what he's doing with his hand. He's got watch. His thumb goes in. His thumb goes in. I've got it on slow motion right now. See how it's like he's hitting the doorbell and he goes in to hit it. See that? Because I'm not saying this did happen, but what I'm saying is this is interesting. I'm not saying he did hit it, but he's not He's not trying to remove that doorbell right there at this point. He's not, because if he was trying to remove that doorbell, like people was saying he was, that camera is going to move the slightest bit. The camera is going to move the slightest bit. I just think I fucked it up. Okay. The camera is going to move the slightest bit when you're pulling it off, trying to pull it off. We just saw that. Exactly. Why does there seem to be no movement? Because he's not prying it off the bracket yet. He is not. So it makes me wonder. He goes there and like he's getting ready to knock, but then he goes, then he covers this, and then he's like ringing the doorbell. Ringing the doorbell. Now that may be for Nancy, but it could be because someone is already inside the house. He just doesn't want his face. Nobody's talked about this yet. He just may not want his face shown, but he wants the someone to know that he is out there. He's out front now. I don't want to be recorded, but I'm still out here out front. Open the freaking door. You get what I mean? Yes. Yes. He's not removing that doorbell right there. He's not. Because it didn't move at all. Didn't move at all. Been thinking about this forever. It's like the last 24 hours. If he wanted to remove it, because we've been digging on this, and I think like Chris from the interview room said, and other people, like, and I said this, Chris said, if there was, if this was a criminal, he would just go up and rip the fucking doorknob off. Right? He's just going to rip the doorknob off. Maybe, but why not with the walkie-talkie? Because walkie-talkies are very, very loud as well. They're very loud. I'm not sure you want to. Plus, it might be more complicated to ring the doorbell, hold the thing, and all that. I don't know, but we don't know we still don't even know it's a walkie-talkie. We still don't even know it's a walkie-talkie. It could be a walkie-talkie. But regardless, this camera is not moving. It's not moving. And he is not moving it yet. It looks like he's hitting that button. He's covering it up, so it's not going to record him regardless. And he is either waiting for Nancy to come to the door, or he is waiting for another perpetrator, probably my opinion, to come to the door. He just wants him to let him know he's out there on the other side of the door. Maybe they are removing her at this time. You get it? Maybe they're removing her at this time. But regardless, if he was going to take that doorbell off, because you got to remember, this doorbell had already been moved a slight bit days prior. It had already been removed days prior. Not removed, moved a little bit. Moved a little bit. Right? We've seen how it's moved. Right? So it shouldn't have been extremely hard to take off that bracket at all, regardless. And if it, again, was moved in the slightest little bit, we would have seen it while he was doing it. And I think, nobody's talked about this yet, but I think that this guy is getting ready to knock on the door. I don't think, in my opinion, I don't think it's for Nancy. I think it's for someone in that house. But he thought, oh, better not knock. I better not knock. I better press this doorbell. I just better press this doorbell. Knocking can be a little louder, right? You're out in the front yard, essentially. You're going to want to be pretty quiet. Watch how he comes up. See? And then he goes to the camera. It's like he's getting ready to bang that door, but then he goes here. And then covering that face. Watch that thumb. There we go. And you know what I think? I'm not done with it. You know what I think the flowers were for? You know what I think the flowers were for? Still, I've not heard anybody think of this either. I think the flowers were there because this guy knew that they were going to take Nancy out of the front door. And we're going to talk about the blood and all that in a second, and I'm going to explain more. I think it was targeted if it was a robbery gone wrong. This was targeted, but a robbery. This wasn't a robbery. Wasn't a robbery, in my opinion, and I'm almost certain of that. But I think the reason he was putting those flowers there because he was waiting for that person to come to the door, and he wanted to put something to cover that camera so they could remove Nancy. Because he wasn't going, this guy, again, he doesn't seem like he doesn't seem like the aggressor, right? He walks up much more calmer. He's the helper. This guy is trying to put the flowers up so when they remove Nancy, it doesn't record. It doesn't record them removing Nancy. Right? That's why the flowers were going up. He went to the door. He was going to knock on it. His hand went straight to there. He's wanting to cover it up because he doesn't want to be recorded. While he doesn't want to be recorded, he's hitting the doorbell down here. He's not shaking it because if he was shaking it, it would have been moving. He hits that doorbell and he thinks, okay, while I'm going to turn around like this, I need something you can see he's looking down at the porch. I need something to cover up this camera because we're getting ready to take her out of here. Right? And we can't hold our hand there and carry her out at the same time. So we need something to cover this camera. But they end up taking it. They end up taking this camera instead. They end up taking this camera instead. Is what they do. There was no jammer. No, there was not a jammer. I'll bet anybody on the jammer. Believe what you want, guys, on this thing, but don't believe there's a jammer. For God's sakes, I try not to tell anybody what to believe or anything like that, but don't believe there's a jammer. If there was, this guy would have jammed it. There's no jammer. And I think Megyn Kelly even mentioned this today. She's like, that's like some NASA space shit if you're going to block that many homes. There was no jammer. There was just not a jammer. I thought used as leverage to remove camera, but why isn't they being some? I don't know what you mean, Bogey Baby. The dog may have heard the doorbell. She doesn't have a dog there right now, baby. And when the doorbell is pushed, I can hear it in the house. It goes to my cousin's phone, so it can't be heard at the house. It just depends how, like on Kloops, you're right, how you have your setting. Some will say, like when you get a motion, it'll say you are being recorded, right? Some doesn't do anything. Some it just when you press the doorbell. Some you can keep it on silent. It's really up to you. But watch this. Okay. He's going to like knock. Nope, I'm not going to knock. It's subconscious. Okay, I'm going to cover this up. I'm going. You see how he's getting ready to go for the doorknob right there? How do you open a doorknob? Right? You get ready to do this. You're going to okay, I got to put my hand up because of where it is, but you got to put your hand up like this, right? And then it's like he's getting ready to try to see if the door's open yet. Right? Because I truly believe he's helping someone here. I don't think this is the main guy, in my opinion. But watch this. Okay. Watch him. There you go. He thumbs it. He's hitting the doorbell right there. He only does it once. There we go. Thumbs it. Right? Now, watch this. Watch him. He's going to turn around. He's going to look for something to cover this up. Watch him. Look at there. Bending over. He's looking for something to cover this up so they can take her out. Watch him. There we go. And he gets those flowers. Right? No, baby, it's not the door handle. No, you can see the door handle right here. Here's the door handle, honey. Right there. Here's the bolted lock. Or here's the deadbolt, I mean. Right there's the deadbolt where my mouse is. And right there is the door knob. The camera right here is beside the door. Let me show you. Let me get these pictures. See right there? This is the deadbolt. This is the lock. Okay? Now watch this. See? This right here is where the camera was. Where the camera was. Okay? Here's that deadbolt and that lock that you've seen. He is pressing that doorbell right there. It's like he's getting ready to knock, but he doesn't. So he covers it up, hits the doorbell, and then he turns around right here. And when he turns around, he doesn't want to be seen, obviously. and he's looking around there on the porch to see if there's something he can cover it without moving, preferably. Without moving it, preferably. Right? No, okay. So her doorbell is far from the camera. No, baby. The doorbell and the camera is the same thing. It's a Nest doorbell camera. It's it's the same thing. That's the old one. That's the old one. That one's just a chime. I still have my old chime right beside my Ring camera. It's almost exactly like this. I have my what I don't know if I forget. I have my camera, my Ring camera. It's a doorbell and a camera, and then I have my old cheap little plastic one. Right. A lot of us, you just don't take it down because then it'll like leave that little plastic ugly thing right there, whatever. How long has we had Cam for? Do we know? I don't know what you mean. The How long she had the doorbell for? I don't know about the doorbell. Knocking on that metal door, it's not a good choice. Knocking on a metal door could be loud enough for a dog to hear. So, oh, the door. Yep. 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 I agree. Nobody's saying the people has the camera. The people got to listen very, very closely, dear. The peephole was used in as an example, like, like a peephole, like the old hotel ones, or, when you go to a hotel. I'm not talking about that. I was talking about him like covering up, how we used to cover the peepholes, but he's covering up the camera. That was the example was made for. I believe you got that right, except it's a pinky finger, not thumb, unless I'm missing something. No, it's a thumb, baby. I think it is. I'm pretty sure. Guys, hit that thumbs up button, please. Share the live out. Let's see. That's his thumb. So this is his thumb. That's his thumb, index finger, middle finger, ring finger, pinky finger. There he goes. His thumb is bent. Watch, there you go. He's moving his thumb. It's his thumb. Yep, thumb. Yo, Justin, you think there's two different color gloves on? No, I don't. No. I don't think so. Let me, I think it's just the way the light is. It's interesting you say, that's interesting. I never even see it's so good to, it could be two different color gloves. It could be. That's a good point. But the problem with that is the night vision is so exaggerated. You know what I mean? It could, but you never know. Justin, I read that today that the FBI is saying he has on two masks. I don't know if he's got on two masks. I don't think I personally don't think he's got on two masks. I think he's got on a hoodie behind that, and he's got on a ski mask, and I think he's got on at least two sets of gloves. Thank you, Wise Old Tales. I know that they had a look in the cloud storage for breadcrumbs, whatever that is. Yes, and hopefully they can get all of it because I really want to see uh, that. I really want to see all this video because I feel like it's a good theory there. But we're not done with it. When you open door, will the gate open? When you open the door, will the gate like the when you say gate, what's up, baby? Do you mean the metal door? When you say gate, do you mean by this? Is that what you mean? Gate on front? So the metal, I call them a storm door. That's what I call them. I don't know what I call these metal doors storm doors, no matter what they are. I don't. That's what I call them. But I think out. I'm on the East Coast, so I think like out on the West Coast, like they're used for extra security as well. But then behind this door, there is a regular door, right? They call them gates. Okay. See, it just depends, like, I guess where you're from. You know what I mean? Kudos to you, Justin. Not even professionals could come with this brilliant theory. Does a jazz more than one person? Oh, thank you, my dear. I I do some classes and stuff. Thank you very much, my dear. I know her dog died in December. I'm trying to figure out how did they know that they had to be in front of the house, and maybe how did they know that they had to be in that house? And maybe she mentioned it. I don't know what you mean, Nancy. Trying to let inside person know he had arrived. So, you know how like because we got to think about this. We got to think about this. This person, one of these people was at least, and we're talking minimum there of 41 minutes. And that's actually minimum, right? Minimum. And we've went through all the theories on how this could possibly why someone could possibly be there 41 minutes. And the easy thing to say is something went wrong. I don't believe in nothing. I don't believe anything went as I think I don't think anything goes ideally as you have it in your brain, but I think it went just about as good as something like this could go, in my opinion. Because I don't think it's hard, in my opinion, to make an 84-year-old woman behave, if you will, or uh, listen to your commands at 2:30 in the morning when she's not very mobile, and you have a GUN and you're a strong middle-aged man. I don't think it's that difficult. I don't think it's going to be that big of a task. So, in my opinion, there was either, which I don't believe that they were looking for someone. 1 second, I apologize, guys. So, I think, in my opinion, that they were either speaking to her, they could be potentially threatening her to do something, or she should have done something, or they just wanted her to know something, um, or they were waiting for help with something. Maybe they couldn't carry her, right? How hard would it be to carry her? Very. It's going to be very hard. One neighbor said that the gate wasn't easy to open. She she did I think she said that it would be hard for them to break in, right? She said it would be hard for them to break in. Um a lot of people are saying some of these there's a lock from the inside and there's a lock from the outside. This one, I'm almost positive that it's just like a normal deadbolt and a normal hand lock, like a normal doorknob, if you will, indoor or outdoor doorknob, and a padlock or a deadbolt, rather. That's the word I'm looking for, a deadbolt. And then the door is another deadbolt and another lock. The tracks down the side lot was a garbage wheel can double track. So I think they put her there and then to the trunk. Maybe, maybe. Um, I did see those little tracks. Guys, I apologize. I need to check something. I apologize. Do apologize for that. I don't like to do that while I'm live. Um, the real Emily Ross, good to see you, my dear. Thank you so much. She had hearing aids and she took them out at night. She didn't have a clue what was going on, in my opinion. I think that's my hope. That's my hope, Emily. My hope is, and thank you for that, my dear. I hope that she had no idea this was coming. That's my hope. And that she didn't even, or quickly, very quickly, just knew someone was there. Um, I really don't think she made it out of the house alive. I really don't think that she made it out of the house alive. Okay. All right. Now we're going to move on with this because this I have literally been on this case since the beginning. And I didn't I knew it was they used the term out in the driveway when this was going on. And look at this. There's things here. And this makes me wonder. So I don't think she was in a trash can. Now that I'm thinking about this, I don't think she was in a trash can, and I'll tell you why. Because there's blood here in different spots. However they were moving her, there had to be a loss of containment. or they were just carrying her, or she was walking. But watch this. Credit goes to Fox. Now look how far the blood goes out. Look at how far this blood goes out. Look at this again. Look at that. That goes a long way out.
Blood found on Nancy Guthrie's doorstep was confirmed to be hers. We also know foreign DNA that does not match Nancy's, was found in the 84-year-old's home. Blood found on Nancy Guthrie's doorstep was confirmed to be hers. We also know foreign DNA that does not match Nancy's, was found in the 84-year-old's home. Blood found on Nancy Guthrie's doorstep was confirmed to be hers. We also know foreign DNA.
So, right? So this blood went out a lot further. Why aren't the family screaming about this? Because I think the family are probably just they've said what I think it's hard for Savannah. I wonder why Savannah hasn't given any more updates, but I think there's a lot going on with the sheriff right now, and I think, in my opinion, they're maybe becoming unhappy with it. That's just an opinion. I don't know that. Now, we've seen this picture, right? But I did not realize that it went out this far when they said driveway. Because this is the porch. This is the porch, and then this is the sidewalk. It goes way out here. Way out here. And there's more blood at the door. Allegedly, there is blood. It's been reported that there's blood on the other side. I think there was loss of containment at some point, right? A lot of people talks about the footprints. I think you got to realize, just because we see what we see, but there's a whole world that you and I don't see, right? Those blood drops have microscopic drops around there that you and I can't see as well. And if it gets on anybody's shoes at all, it's going to light up. It's going to light up as well. So I think, like I said earlier, sorry, one second. While this guy was going to the door, he was going to knock. I think he's waiting for someone to open the door for him. I think he covers it because he don't want it to record his face. He hits the thumb to ring the doorbell. He's waiting for someone to come, but they're going to take her out. And that's why he gets the flowers to cover this up. That's why he gets the flowers to cover it up. Because he's looking for something. You can tell he's clearly looking for something. And because if they're taking her out, they can't obviously cover the camera while they're carrying her out. You got me? And that's why he gets these dumbass flowers to try to cover it up. And that's why they end up just finally popping the camera off. He was not trying to remove that in the beginning at the part that we see. He's not there to remove that at that point. Hole in trash can. I don't think yeah. I don't think, in my opinion, she was removed with the trash can or anything here. And I think, my opinion, that she is most likely just in a sheet or a comforter, in my opinion. I think they, you guys know I've worked at funeral homes in the past. Many times, people will carry. Okay, have you ever? You know how like when someone like in a funeral home nowadays, we have like machines that move the deceased and stuff. Like if we need to move them from one place to the other, but you know how like in hospitals or you have a immobile person at home and you would get a sheet and you would put underneath someone, and you would one person would get on one end and the other person would get on the other end, and you would both move the person from this bed to that bed or whatever. I think that is likely how they moved her. I think she was probably still in her bed. I think they took the sheet, one of the sheets underneath of her, in my opinion, and that is how, in my opinion, they probably moved her out. And I think she was probably bleeding at the time. This case is so frustrating because what was the reason? I think about this case daily. Yep, they do it in the operating room. Yep, they still do it in hospitals and stuff as long as they most people don't have the big machines and stuff like that, but it's very heavy. It's a very yeah, because it's just not solved. There you can tell there's just evil around this. The question of why, um, everyone wants to know why, but there really isn't. There's no reason. It's evil in people's hearts, or it is something wrong with them. The why is really, I don't want to say it's irrelevant, but regardless, it's just wrong. You know what I mean? Yeah, like nursing home, Kelly. Like, yeah, it's just wicked and stuff. All right, let's get on with it. I can't show the information about um the electrician tonight. I'm gonna try to do a members only tomorrow with that, because it's got some really private information, but I really, really am interested in uh some things. There's some things that really interest me with this, with some things I'll show you tomorrow. But look at this. Okay, here we go. Well, let me just show you this first. I want to go to Nanos so you can see this, what's going on. So we can just keep you updated with this before we get to the more deeper things today.
So the sheriff leading the Nancy Guthrie case is facing a massive recall effort as frustrated local demand answers.
I'm looking for people to help us out, get involved, go out and get signatures. Let's get the sheriff out of office and get someone in there that we can feel confident in.
So Arizona congressional candidate Daniel Gutierrez told Fox and Friends that he already has 500 volunteers who are collecting signatures to replace Sheriff Chris Nanos. Meanwhile, the FBI is reportedly zeroing in on evidence from two.
Do you hear that?
Some friends that he already has 500 volunteers who are collecting signatures to replace Sheriff Chris Nanos.
Okay, so did you guys know that Mr. Nanos has resigned before? I'm going to show you that in just a second.
Meanwhile,
you guys saw the live yesterday that I had about his history. They have a lot of signatures now. A lot now.
The FBI is reportedly zeroing in on evidence from two dates in the days before the 84-year-old disappearance, January the 11th and the 24th. Retired NYPD inspector and Fox News contributor Paul Murrow was on the ground in Tucson when Nancy Guthrie first went missing. He's also the host of the weekly rap sheet on Fox Nation, and he joins us now. Paul, what do you make of all these developments? You know, they're not happy with the sheriff, but does this help us get Nancy back home?
Well, I think the most hopeful thing, Lawrence, is the information about the two dates. Now, we don't know what that indicates, obviously, but the most hopeful read on it is that they're looking at somebody and they're trying to place that person or persons in the vicinity at that hour on those dates to see if, in fact, they can begin to work backwards from that. Less hopeful is, let's say they have something in the forensics, likely the digital forensics, either something from the camera or something from the cell towers, that shows some kind of unusual activity that they're trying to hone in on. Also could be a good lead, but not necessarily something as good as, let's say, okay, we're starting to focus on somebody and we're trying to put that person in that area.
So, Paul, initially, the sheriff said that Nancy Guthrie wasn't targeted. He's now saying this.
We believe we know why he did this, and we believe that it was targeted, but we're not 100% sure of that. And so it'd be silly.
He says it, then he walks back. Well, if you believe you know why she's targeted, right? Why? Then you have something. In the why, and again, he says this, again, like I say, 84-year-old victim risk continuum is highly low. They don't live a risky lifestyle whatsoever. They've lived 84 years. She doesn't do anything risky. She doesn't live in a risky environment at all. There's only so many reasons why you want an 84-year-old dead or hurt. And I think most of us can come to the sad conclusion now that Nancy's not alive. Nobody is just taking care of her right now. Right? And again, I say this every single live. Statistically, Nancy wouldn't be alive normally in a normal circumstance in a year because she's 84. The average life is 77. She could live 15 more years, but statistically, it's not likely. Who couldn't, or more importantly, wouldn't wait another year? Right? Could it have been SA? It could have been, but I don't believe that was the motive. And I'll tell you why, just browsing. I don't think that was the motive because SA is generally what's the word I'm looking for? It's generally impulsive. It's not someone who comes there a week or two before, and they're looking at the 11th and the 24th, which these are both on the weekends. To me, it tells me this person works at a job, most likely. Could be, but I think that's one of the lowest, in my opinion.
To tell people, yeah, don't worry about it. You're not his target. Don't think for a minute that because it happened to the Guthrie family, you're safe.
What do you make of that?
Yeah, the biggest problem for this sheriff in terms of his communications, aside from the somewhat shambolic nature of the first two press conferences, is his lack of consistency.
Right.
The fact that he seems to be telling different news agencies different stories or different perceptions of where the case is going just doesn't lead to confidence. And unfortunately for him, there's also the problem that he seems to have lost a lot of his cops. There's no shortage of police officers coming forward and detectives on background, et cetera, coming out and saying that they don't have confidence in his leadership. And there really does seem to be a contentious relationship there. Once you've lost that, it's very, very difficult to get it back. Now, look, I want to be fair. It is a very easy reflex. And Lawrence, you and I were out in Idaho for the Koberger case a lot. And you remember the atmosphere out there. We both dealt with that, right? Everybody said, this is not getting solved. These guys don't know what they're doing. And the two of us stuck our chins out and said, that's not the atmospheric we're getting. And ultimately it was solved. So I don't know that his missteps were or are the reason this thing hasn't been brought in yet. They could be. But I think the biggest missteps here, and there have been a few, undoubtedly, is the public confidence in him and in the investigation.
Paul, such a good point. I guess I would say the one difference from our experience on the ground in Idaho is that the cops on the ground were quiet. They didn't give us anything. And because they were secretly working. And I think he has confused people by the missteps and the different comments. Hopefully we can get Nancy home. That's what we're all praying for. Paul.
That would be amazing. That would be absolutely amazing. Right. But Mr. Nanos has resigned before. There is no confidence in Sheriff Nanos. Mods, how many thumbs ups do we got? Please hit that thumbs up, y'all. Greatly appreciate y'all being here. This is credit goes to AZ Central. Listen to this. Good old-fashioned local reporting. They know the history. Check this out. Here we go.
Resigned from his first policing job in Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos resigned from his first policing job in 1982. So why did his public resume say he worked there until 1984?
Why? He resigned in 1982, but his public resume said he worked there until 1984. Let's hear what she has to say.
We got a copy of his employment records, and what we found raises new questions about Nanos, who is overseeing the Nancy Guthrie case. Nanos is the Democratic sheriff in Pima County, but he got his start in the El Paso Police Department in the late 1970s. He was a rising star there, and he even won Officer of the Year for saving his partner's life. But eventually, disciplinary problems caught up to him. Nanos resigned in lieu of termination in 1982, and his supervisors listed insubordination and consistent inefficiency as the reasons why. It followed a long string of allegations, including excessive force, a shot fired, off-duty gambling, and tardiness, according to El Paso employment records. However, the public resume that's posted on the Pima County Sheriff's Department website said that Nanos worked in El Paso until 1984. I asked the sheriff why that was the case, and he accused me of writing a hit piece and declined to answer my questions. But the next day, the sheriff's department said it had fixed clerical errors on Nanos' resume, including his departure date from El Paso police. He did not mean to mislead or misrepresent his work history, according to a spokesperson. This all comes as Nanos is under intense scrutiny for his handling of the search for Nancy Guthrie, a case that's garnered national attention. If you want to learn more about this story and see his employment records, you can find them on azcentral.com and in the Arizona Republic. Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos resigned from his first policing job in 1982. So why did his public resume say he worked there until 1984? We got a copy of his employment records, and what we found raises new questions about Nanos, who is overseeing the Nancy Guthrie case. Nanos is the Democratic sheriff in Pima County, but he got his start in the El Paso Police Department in the late 1970s. He was a rising star there, and he even won Officer of the Year for saving his partner's life.
So that's good.
But eventually, disciplinary problems caught up to him. Nanos resigned in lieu of termination in 1982, and his supervisors listed insubordination and consistent inefficiency as the reasons why.
Oh, insubordination. So it seems like he's always been a little bit of a bully, and he doesn't like to allegedly listen. Oh, come on, y'all. We got 1,300 people watching right now. You see 1,086. I see 13 because I got two different chats going on. Please hit that thumbs up, y'all. Working like a one-legged man in a butt kicking contest. Come on. Justin, you have all that info. Thank you. Did you send it to me, baby? Thank you so much. Rico. Oh, I think it went to spam. That's why, sassy. Okay. I'll look at that. Which he allegedly, people say that I think he was found in these local or these recent reports that he was what's the word? A bully. Yeah. Bully. Okay. Dereliction of duty. Oh, look at this. Tardiness, dereliction of duty, violation of something. It's so faded. Violation of something, violation, off-duty, indecent, excessive force. And by the way, one of the things was in spam, sassy, which Nanos is spam. Yeah. He's Susie B. And just so you know, you can get every law enforcement's disciplinary history. Just so you know. Just an FYI. Excessive force, tardiness, excessive force, something habitual tardiness, something violation department order, PD vehicle, civil suit against city, auto accident, abrasive language, off-duty conduct, threats. Damn, Nanos. Damn. Okay. Shots fired. Brutality. Off-duty conduct, gambling. Shots fired. Informational only.
It followed a long string of allegations, including excessive force, a shot fired, off-duty gambling, and tardiness, according to El Paso employment records. However, the public resume that's posted on the Pima County Sheriff's Department website said that Nanos worked in El Paso until 1984. I asked the sheriff why.
That is correct. That is correct. He can only he can't be fired, but he can resign, or he can be recalled. Yes, he can resign or it can be recalled. Oh, that's the only two ways.
Why that was the case, and he accused me of writing a hit piece and declined to answer my question.
Oh, isn't that interesting how it seems like in certain investigations he doesn't like to answer questions, and he will just threaten you with writing a hit piece if you're just merely asking questions. A question is not a hit piece, is it? Especially the sheriff, who you are the one that's supposed to be giving the answers, you know, the commander in chief, so to speak. Unbelievable.
But the next day, the sheriff's department said it had fixed clerical errors on Nanos' resume, including his departure date from El Paso police. He did not mean to mislead or misrepresent his work history, according to a spokesperson. This all comes as Nanos is under intense scrutiny for his handling of the search for Nancy Guthrie, a case that's garnered national attention. If you want to learn more about this story and see his employment records, you can find them on azcentral.com and in the Arizona Republic. Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos.
Okay. Well, we have those from what I understand. Someone just sent a Cash App. Thank you so much. I appreciate you very, very much for sending that. Thank you for your support. Yes, thank you very much, my dear. They didn't want their name mentioned. Here we go. I'm going to show you those documents. There we go. Violation department order, civil suit against city auto accident, abusive language, off-duty conduct, threats, tardy, shot fired, suspended 1 day, brutality, shots fired, off-duty conduct, gambling, failure to report for duty, information only. I don't know what that means. Violation of rules and regulations, suspended 10 days, unnecessary force, discourse, not sustained, tardiness, dereliction of duty, written reprimanded, violation of rules and something, information only, citation of 1 day suspended, violation of, I think it's habitual tardiness, 3 days suspended, off-duty incident, excessive force. What bothers me here is the brutality and like the excessive, shots, appears to be shots fired. Those are the insubordination is when he resigned in lieu of termination. Right there. And he's got a lot here on his thing here. So, a couple pages. I think they have enough signatures, and I think he's on his way out. I think it's coming. Hey, Daily. I think okay, answer that one. Thank you, Emily. Appreciate you, my love. Okay, here we go. Wanted to show you that as well. Now, someone said I need to look at this. How many signatures do they got? The deadline to, oh hell, they're going to get that. guess what the deadline is? The deadline to collect 122,211 signatures is July 10th. They'll get that. I think they're going to get that pretty quickly. All right. So we're going to pull up Mrs. Grace here because sorry, I'm trying to do two things at once. There's something that I can't miss, they said on this. Here we go. One second. Tucson leaders to discuss Sheriff Nanos. Okay, I want to play this just 1 second while I pull that up.
Hines has confirmed to News 4 Tucson that an agenda item regarding Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos is being placed on the next scheduled meeting list. The discussion is set to happen on March 24th during that meeting that evening for city leaders to talk about the recent concerns with Nanos' resume. In a statement, Hines said, quote, "Yes, I'm placing an item on the agenda so we can discuss this most recent and troubling revelation regarding his work history. I'm receiving calls, emails, and even some postcards about Nanos." News 4 Tucson did ask the sheriff about his resume in a recent interview. Take a listen.
I would hope that clearly shows there's no attempt to mislead or mischaracterize my resume. It's just unfortunate that 40 years, spanning 6 decades, is kind of tough, and your documents get mixed up and you miss a couple of dates here and there.
No, they already have 5,000 signatures, Roxy. They need 122,000, and they need it by July 11th. I don't think that'll be hard to do. I really don't think so. Okay, here we go. Credit's going to go to my friend and yours, Mrs. Nancy Grace, the queen of true crime. Nancy Grace. Bombshell tonight, people. Is that what she used to say? Bombshell tonight.
Matt Crime Stories investigative reporter. What can you tell me about the FBI back in Nancy Guthrie's neighborhood going door to door? What do they want?
They want any kind of video that they can possibly find from Ring cameras, Nest cameras, any kind of surveillance video. And they want to talk to everybody about January 11th. You know, we've had the 2 videos, or the 2 photos rather. We have one where porch guy who has the gun in the backpack. And then we had the other photo. There we go.
It's it's a huge county, huge. It's bigger than New Hampshire, the county, or something like that.
Where he's not wearing a backpack and there is no gun. Well, now we know the no gun photo, no backpack photo. That's why the FBI is back in the neighborhood and they're talking to everyone in there about January 11th, specifically 9 p.m. to 12 midnight.
Straight out to our panel of experts, to Joseph Scott Morgan, professor of forensics, Jacksonville State University, author of Blood Beneath My Feet on Amazon, and star of a hit podcast, Body Bags with Joe Scott Morgan. Weigh in.
Well, you know, the fact that we have timestamps now, Nancy, is significant because you can go back. I don't know how far back they've gone with the videography that they have in hand. And what I'm talking about are all the peripheral areas. Did they have anything that goes back to that date in January where they can see a potential suspect moving around in that environment? And also, let me throw this out there to you. The backpack that he's wearing, and we're back on this again relative to the Ozark backpack, I think that it's critical here to try to understand, did he acquire this after that date in preparation of everything that he's been doing? It's also been stated that that holster that he is wearing is also a purchase from Walmart, which is where Ozark is also sold as well. Now, granted, he could have bought this online. He could have.
I think this was bought at a Walmart, at least at some point, but it doesn't look like the GUN and the holster fits very good. as well. To me, it doesn't look like it fits very snug.
To a thrift store and picked it up, but it just seems like a coincidence at this point in time, not a coincidence, rather, that he acquires all this stuff and he changes his appearance. I stated some time ago that I felt as though that whoever did this had been casing her home, all right, that they had familiarity with this.
Pam, you can't go to bed. No, ma'am. Nope. Nope. We are portable, and if I have to be here, so do you. I'm just kidding, Pam. Love you, darling. Good night.
Environment, that they were trying to understand it, trying to get a feel for the environment before they take her in whatever form that they took her, whether it was walking out the door with her, luring her out, or whatever potentially happened in this particular event. And I think that goes to this narrative, Nancy.
Also joining us in addition to Dave Mack and Joe Scott Morgan, Brian Fitzgibbons is with us, Director of Operations, USPA Nationwide Security, leading a team of investigators finding and extracting missing people from around the world, former Marine, Iraqi war vet. Brian, this is big. This is big because now we have evidence directly linking January 11 to Nancy Guthrie's disappearance. We have January 24 linked to her disappearance. And we have the 31st bordering into the 1st. All three of those on weekend nights. That is extremely probative. When I would work up cases to present to juries, I would always look to see what night of the week incidents were occurring specifically.
Yes. And these happen to be on the weekend. And I want to say that a lot of people don't work on the weekend, right? A lot of people don't work on the weekend, but a lot of people do. And there are certain professions that are almost guaranteed to be off on the weekend. And I think that is one big ass clue. For instance, not blaming anybody by any stretch of the imagination. But for example, Carlos, who they went and did a search warrant, he said he was off on the weekends. Livy Summer. Construction would be on the weekends, yes. Electricians would generally be on the weekends. Plumbers, nowadays electricians and plumbers works doctors or banker hours because they make more than doctors. Unless, it's an emergency, and then they really make more than doctors.
In, let's just say, a serial murder case, a serial case, stalking cases, because that gives me a bead on who is my perp. He's always doing this on weekend nights. Why?
Love you, baby.
But that said, the fact that we now have somewhat of a timestamp is significant. Why?
Absolutely. It adds a tremendous amount of color behind the profile that we're building of this suspect. Why was it just on the weekends? Is this somebody who traveled a distance, who was maybe working somewhere Monday through Friday, elsewhere during the week, traveling to the Tucson area on the weekend to conduct this reconnaissance? And the second thing I'd like to add is it also corroborates other information that has been revealed from the investigation. Nancy's neighbor reported to numerous media outlets that in mid-January, she wasn't sure of a specific date, that she saw someone, a strange person, walking around the neighborhood. And this wasn't a typical walker that they would see, or somebody in exercise clothing, that somebody was walking up and down the neighborhood. Now, this has been widely reported, and now with this date and timestamp on the perp or the suspect on Nancy's porch, it certainly provides some more validation to that tip.
The masked suspect seen on Nancy's front porch 3 weeks before her abduction. It's been narrowed down. Definitely, Jan.
I mean, I think if this is someone that, particularly these are local people, I think if this person has shaved, collared their goatee, shaved their goatee, grown out a beard, if they have particularly been laying low, if they took a vacation, if they've been acting strange, bizarre with their family, friends, loved ones, all of those things you need to be watching out for, right? I don't know if I agree with that, Annette. I don't know if I agree with that because, this is the thing. I mean, I partly agree with that. Annette says it's so silly. Of course, he's going at the same time. He wants to know what will be happening at that time. I think it has to be potentially convenient for him as well, right? This time frame. So yeah, partly.
11. Definitely Jan 11. To Todd Shipley joining us, digital cybercrime expert, former Detective Sergeant Reno, 25 years in law enforcement, author of Surviving a Cyber Attack, Securing Social Media, Protecting Your Home. He is at darkintel.info. I know on the outside looking in to civilians, this is not a big deal.
I think he looks very familiar. He looks like he taught at McAfee, or one of the places I took a class.
It is a big deal. Now we're looking for sure at January 11, January 24, and January 31, Feb 1. This narrows down the identity of the suspect. Now people can think back. Where was X on these dates?
Yes. Where was, my son, my husband, my boyfriend, my cousin? God, that really looks like, my cousin or my son or my boyfriend or my husband. But let me go back and check what dates it was, right? January 11th. January
Why was he out
24th.
late?
Yes.
That night. That's just a small example. But digitally speaking, forensically speaking, how will this help us?
Well, one of the things that has happened now is that they've taken that Nest camera and gone to the next level of investigation.
Jane, sorry, my dear. Appreciate you, my darling. Good to see you. I hope. Hi, Justin. I hope you're well. I have been in the hospital again fighting, but it's hard. Oh, Jane, love you, darling. Appreciate you, baby. Not forgotten about Jack and Lily. Promise you. I just did a live day before yesterday, I think it is. And Daniel has court in just a few days. And that's in Jack and Lily's case and others' case. Guys, if y'all haven't been following me on that. Yeah. Hey, Lisa, good to see you. I hope you feel better, honey. You take good care of yourself, okay? Keep you in our prayers and love you very much. He just looks weird and it's just so creepy. I wouldn't like to wake up to that. It just gives me a weird feeling. He wanted more than money or items.
Connecting to it and getting data off is the average forensic work that is done every day. What happened in this case, I'm pretty sure, is that they actually did what we call a chip off. They took the device apart, went to the motherboard, took the actual memory chips off and read them directly to get this extra data that was there that they couldn't get.
Right. Hopefully this guy has like like a relationship where like the girlfriend or the wife gets mad at him and she just if she's not going to tell on him, she gets mad at him one good time and just calls in. $1.2 million on the line. But if she suspects him and she says, hey, I think this might be you, she could be in danger as well.
Otherwise, because it was deleted or otherwise removed from the average ability to get to it. So they did a very sophisticated process, got the data off there, and now have new evidence that we didn't have. And this took them a while to do. It wasn't something that was easily done because it's partly destructive when it takes this kind of technique to get the data off. And so they were able to get that information and produce new photos that show exactly when this guy was there at a previous date.
Back to Dave Mack, the FBI in Nancy Guthrie's neighborhood in the last 24 hours asking about neighbors who moved out before Nancy vanished. They're also keenly interested in a home that is under construction, and they want the names of all the crew members who worked on the house. Bam! What about it, Dave Mack?
Nancy, dead on accurate. Let's take them one at a time here. The FBI was back in the neighborhood.
Let's say that these construction workers were off on the weekends, but they were there during the week. Now, I personally don't think it's construction workers down the house working on the building a house. My opinion. I think it's more likely to be, in my opinion, an electrician or a roofer that's been at her house. Now, these construction workers could have been at her house before during work or whatever, but I don't know. Just my opinion.
And looking at these homes under construction and wanting to get all of the employees' names, numbers, contact info, so they can start running down timelines on every employee that was working on these homes under construction. Now, we've talked about this neighborhood before. It is a very upscale neighborhood, and there was one home particularly in this neighborhood that was for rent. They don't have a lot of rentals here. In this one rental home, the neighbors moved out immediately after Nancy Guthrie's disappearance. Now, read into that what you will, but they were there until the kidnapping and then gone. So we've got the rental home and we've got construction work.
Okay, before we start a vigilante hunt for the people that moved out, you remember how everyone has been attacking Mrs. Guthrie's son-in-law? And
I'm wondering about the rental too. I think the timing is very, very interesting as well. And yeah,
his bandmates in some band he plays or played in. I mean, the bandmate's been having to hide in the home, and he has children, by the way. He and his wife have children, I learned. But that said, before we start pitchforks and torches outside the homes of the people that moved out, I want to point out that the idea of crew members on construction sites have been notoriously singled out in the past, and it's often been correct. It's going to be hard to put those crew members' names back together.
Poor Nancy, her one of, I think, her first love, he worked in construction, and he was actually a victim of crime. He was unalived.
Together again. But that said, I find that really interesting. The FBI back in the neighborhood trying to determine who worked on a construction crew. Do I have that correct, Dave Mack?
Yes, you have it exactly correct. They want to know who was there and when they were there. You know, you've got a lot of day workers that do construction work, and depending on the work being done on any given day, Nancy, it could be regular crew that do the work on a regular basis, or it could be people we picked up at, on the way in to do 1 day or 2 days of labor. They're trying to track everyone down. So it's going to be a Herculean effort.
Yeah.
One I thought they would have gone through.
You can just see the love on Nancy's face right there. Look at her. You can just absolutely see that she is just cherishing that time. Now, do you guys think that this means that they don't have nothing? They're just checking the boxes, just like Brandy just said? Or do you think that they are checking the boxes and they're just trying to throw us, people off, if you will?
For now.
Well, they may be just learning about the construction crew, but that said, Joe Scott Morgan, the case Jennifer Kesse, you and I have worked on it for years. Focus now on the construction crews.
Yes, Jennifer Kesse, they have this photo of her car at the apartment, and they have the video of what they believe is Jennifer Kesse's killer. But the way the frames of the video happen and the way that they're moving, there's like post, and you cannot see that mother chicken's face. And they believe that this is a construction worker, like that one of the theories is, at least, is that it's one of these traveling construction workers who unalived her.
Working along her set of condos, and behind them, at the time Jennifer goes missing, they never have tracked them down because, as Dave Mack just reported, a lot of them were day workers that you pick up at the grocery store, standing out in the parking lot, that need work for the day. It's really hard to find them, some of them being illegals, just all sorts of problems tracking down a construction crew.
Yeah, it is. But I got to, where I'm going to start? I'm going to start with all of these cameras that are on homes around there, and any of those cameras that are pointed toward that construction site. And guess what I'm going to start doing?
Yep.
I'm going to start going frame by frame of every bit of data that I can during the daylight hours of that construction site.
Tell him, Joseph.
We're going to pull those license plates off of all of those trucks, because construction sites, what do you think about? You think about big pickup trucks, you think about delivery trucks, all these sorts of things. And that's where the investigation should start relative to this. You find the site foreman, you go back, you press him. Do you have anybody here that works in this area? I don't care if they are a day laborer, somebody that's here consistently, or did one of these consistent people bring in a cousin, said, hey, man, can you slip my cousin a few bucks? He'll carry a bucket of nails for us, or plaster, or something like that. You have to press on this bit of information. This is gold, Nancy, relative to that site. And also something I would be very curious about, points of observation. Going back to that construction site, what could you see from that construction site, for instance, looking back toward Miss Guthrie's home? Is it even visible from that perspective? With construction workers, they climb all over these structures, the skeleton of these structures. They have a POV.
And you got to realize, Nancy was having work done at her house as well. She might have been having other work done, just little off the things work that she didn't maybe even need a permit, or she just had someone just do, you know what I mean? Oh, thank you, Miss Jane. Thank you, baby. Appreciate your support. Thank you. And Daniel, going back to court, has put a smile on my face. I can't wait for the day they find Jack and Lily. Thank you so much, Miss Jane. I agree. And I think they're making progress in Jack and Lily's case. We just gotta hold on tight. Gotta hold on tight, my dear. But construction workers wouldn't have an issue with Nancy. That's a very good point, Tina. And to me, this is the thing. Let me finish reading it. But construction workers wouldn't have an issue with Nancy or have anything to gain. And I agree with you. I think this is, unless one of them borrowed money or something, but I don't see it in this. I feel like this is a lot more personal, I feel like this is a lot more close to home. Annette says one guy said, if you can see the roof, you will know where the bathrooms are, usually close to bedrooms. Yeah, so bathrooms are vented, right? There is vents. So generally, where there's a vent, there is generally a bedroom close by. Yeah, that is true.
That nobody else has. They can look down into areas. They see a little old lady living in a house. Yes. Perhaps they frame her out as an easy target. So these are the things. I think this is
But they didn't take anything, though. They didn't, as far as we know, they didn't take anything. Right? If they didn't take anything, what was the point? Unless they're just mean-ass psychos, which most people aren't. Remember, literally over 95% of the time, you are unalived by someone, a family member, a friend, someone you are close to. It's usually that person has to have emotion behind that. Most strangers, why do you want them dead? Why do you want them dead? There's no point. You don't have any feelings for them. Right? You don't want your 86-year-old stranger dead. You don't know who they are. God bless them. Right? So I'm not sure I'm really for this, to be honest with you. It sounds somewhat good in theory, but hey, Mr. Loris, I love you, family. We love you, Mr. Loris. Thank you so much for your support, my dear. Really, really do appreciate that. Good to see you, my dear. Thank you, baby. Appreciate you. Now, this is one thing that I have thought about. Excuse me. I have thought about that. I've not really heard anyone say, but I also can't see Nancy doing this either. Sometimes there is, wait, I just thought of something else now. Another angle to it. Sometimes you can be unsatisfied with the construction work. I've not heard anybody say this yet. Sometimes you can be unsatisfied with the construction work. You can be unsatisfied with the electrical work, the plumbing, the roofing, the painting. And you may say, I'm not going to pay you until you fix it. Oh, mother chicken, I've, done this, I've done that, or whatever. Or we're going to court. Right? Hello, Miss Kelsey. Good to see you, darling. Now, that could piss someone off. It wouldn't piss most people off to unalive them. But it happens. It does happen. Don't ever say roof like that again. I'm Appalachian. I say roof. R-U-F. Roof. Roof, 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 roof. How do you say it? I can't say it. I can't even say it. Roof? I can't even say it right. Roof. Roof, roof. I think she is roof.
An evidence-rich source here. I think they need to press on it, and hopefully they're doing that right now.
Here's another tidbit of information. By the way, that video you saw from a neighbor's door, it's not a door cam, it was a yard cam, was from our friends at Fox News. We know, Joe Scott, that whoever the construction crew is that they're interested in would have to have been there on Jan 11 probably before that, because if one of them is involved, and that's a big if, because whoever it is smart enough to outsmart local sheriffs and now take the feds on a run down a wild goose chase, they'd have to be there before Jan 11, the first day of interest, because they didn't just see her home that day and come up with a plan, right? They saw the home, they thought about it, and then went in the neighborhood. So it's somebody that was there Jan 11 at least. Now, did they work on the crew that whole time? No, they could have come back to the neighborhood. But that said, that's the origin point, Jan 11. Agree, disagree?
Yeah, I agree. And also this idea of casing that I mentioned earlier, you know, it kind of got the bait in the blood in the water at this point in time. If that's from an observable position where you're looking back at her home,
I don't like saying
then that
roof.
puts blood in the water relative to one individual, perhaps showing back up to say, you know what, let me take a closer look here. And you go back to that date, that Jan 11 date, and that's the moment in time where they step in. And who knows, they may have approached from a different perspective. Got the bait in the blood in the water at this point in time. If that's from an observable position where you're looking back at her home, then that puts blood in the water relative to one individual, perhaps showing back up to say, you know what, let me take a closer look here. And you go back to that date, that Jan 11 date, and that's the moment in time where they step in. And
oh, look, guys, this is, you see these covered wagons? This is the 1796 extended cab if you have a lot of children of the day. Can you imagine going across America in a covered wagon like that? God bless our ancestors, man. God bless them. No wonder they look pissed off in all their pictures. I would be too. Hey. Oh, thank you, Jane. Thank you again, baby. I think it's an inside job, and that Savannah must know now, and she might be covering Brandy and Tomas. In my opinion, I think they hired it. I don't think, in my opinion, I don't think Savannah or Cameron knows, in my opinion, at all. But again, the sheriff said that Tommaso and Annie were cleared, but FBI hasn't said anything from what I understand. And I understand people questioning because of a lot of things that's happened as well. But some people think, no way, no how, no. I don't know. Thank you, Miss Jane. Yes, Liberty, my thoughts exactly. You want to ride in there? In the covered wagon? Shenanigans. Good to see you, love. Maybe he couldn't knock because of steel security door. I mean, it's like a screen thingy. I think you can still knock on it, but hey, Smiley. In my opinion, I think he was ringing it, but you never know. You never know. Your dog is so beautiful, by the way. Love it. Nobody is going to take an old woman with heavy liability and take any valuables unless they were hired by someone who wanted her dead for financial reasons or was angry she wouldn't give them money or she knows something. Just spell roof outbound. Roof. It's hard for me to say. Sheriff, because it's my accent. Sheriff cannot clear anyone. Only prosecutors can. Well, just like, I forget who said it the other day. it was another law enforcement officer or former law enforcement. They said, if Sheriff Nano says it, I'm just not going to believe it right now. If FBI says it, I'll believe it. I'll believe it 100%.
Who knows? They may have approached from a different perspective and looked at this residence from that perspective, and they're not caught on the cam. They could be kind of circulating around this environment. You never know relative to the perspective that they have. There's something that drew this individual's eye. I still think that people are aware, because out of all the residences in this neighborhood, they focus on her home, Miss Guthrie's home, out of everybody else's. They targeted her, Nancy.
Also, we are learning investigator seeking video, as I mentioned, 9 p.m. to midnight, Jan 11, and are also interested in a, quote, suspicious vehicle spotted on Via Entrada. That's a street near Nancy Guthrie's home around 10 a.m., Jan 31. Interesting. What can you tell me about that, Dave Mack? A suspicious vehicle on a street via Entrada, 10 a.m., Jan 31.
Right. And the FBI is looking for every possible surveillance camera, Ring doorbell camera that they can find pointing towards the road to get a shot of this suspicious vehicle. And they're asking for a block of time from M to 11:30 a.m. on January 31st, the morning before the kidnapping that took place later that night. So we're talking about the morning of, so this suspicious vehicle on a road nearby. Now, suspicious, not exactly sure what that means, but it stuck out, Nancy, and it stuck out during the daytime. That says a lot.
Again, let me stress that no one on that construction crew, no neighbor that moved out, has been named as a suspect or a person of interest. These are lines of inquiry by the FBI, and it gives us an idea as to where they're headed in the investigation. Again, the last thing you want, would you agree, Fitzgibbons, is to rush down the wrong avenue and name or suspect a POI or a suspect prematurely. That's the first thing you will hear on cross-examination if there is ever a trial. Isn't it true you named Brian Fitzgibbons as your first person of interest, and now you want the jury to convict my guy? You don't want to hear that. So no lynch mobs. Agree?
Absolutely. And this case has drawn so much public attention that, law enforcement needs to keep any persons of interest or suspects very close to the chest at this point. Not only to keep the lynch mob, so to speak, from forming, but from a very functional standpoint. They don't want the suspect or this individual to have really any information about what they do or don't know. So totally agree there.
Dave Mack, Nancy Guthrie stated she had been hacked on social media. And this occurred before her disappearance in the middle of the night. Was it Facebook that she had said was hacked?
She used Facebook a lot, Nancy, and she was hacked on Facebook more than once. But the time that was really worrisome was the one where it was in the middle of the night. But yeah, she was on Facebook all the time, posting pictures of the kids, her and grandkids. She was, and posting her baking photos and things like that. She was an active Facebook user, and she reached out for help, to find out, what do I do? I've been hacked. I need to know what to do to fix this problem. It was big enough that it really did get her attention and worried her.
Todd Shipley, can a hacker, a social media hacker, for instance, on Facebook Messenger, can they be traced?
Well, technically, yes. The question is whether people spend the time to collect the information about what happened. People complain about being hacked all the time. And it happens because there's simple phishing where they get an email.
That's an AI picture, isn't it? Hold on. What the fuck? What's wrong?
You do know.
Button? That's an AI picture, isn't it? Right there it was, I think. I'm pretty sure.
time to collect the information about what happened. People complain.
Maybe it's just a heavily edited photo. Maybe it's just an edited photo. I don't know. Most people who think they are hacked are actually not hacked. I don't believe I don't believe she was hacked or anything like that. I don't. I don't. At all. At all. Guys, I'm at 2 hours and 15 minutes. I had a live before this. I have to be up so early in the morning. No, it's not, Kills. Looks like it's Photoshopped. We all can use a little something, something. Love you guys. Appreciate you. Who forgot to press the like? Did you forget to press the like for me? I'd appreciate it if you would hit the like and share the live. You guys are amazing. I've been up since early this morning, and I don't want to fall asleep during my live. You know what I mean? That would be quite unprofessional. Hype the video in the end. Thank you, Ginger. I'd appreciate that. We get 3. You get 3 a week. I think it is 3 thumbs up or 3 hypes a week. That's what it is. I like 2 different ones. You are amazing, Eve. Thank you so much. Right. All right, guys. You are awesome. Thank you so much. Tomorrow we're going to go into some more very interesting things on Nancy that I'm working on. I thought the theory today was quite interesting as well, but we're going to go a little bit. What time is the live tomorrow? Tomorrow there will be probably 2 lives again because we've got the case out of Barcelona right now, which is Jimmy Gracie. And if anything happens on that, so right, Smiley. So it'll be probably, it just depends if anything happens, 3 or 4 Eastern, and then I'll be live with Nancy after that. Just Jesse, I check the page daily 4 times. You want to see what? I don't know, I think that they are, in my opinion, I think that they are resigned to the fact that they don't believe she's alive based upon how Savannah talked last time. And I think they're very, in my opinion, they're very unsatisfied with how it's, in my opinion, Nanos is conducted. And I think they could have attorneys involved or whatever. You never know. My email. There you go, my dear. There you go, love. Even so, Justin, all humans would be screaming till their mother is found. Yeah, I think it's a little different for Savannah. But I think she's the only one that's really been speaking out on this. And I think I don't know, man. I don't know. I really don't. this is one case that is very confusing because I think the sheriff has sent it in every direction, in every single direction, but it's weird, very weird. You know, we can't look at them differently just because Savannah was on TV. No, it's not that. I think it's a little different for her because she is on TV. But I don't think it's different for her siblings. I don't think it's because they just have money either, at all. As well, I think it's. I think they're going to have a problem with. Am I talking to myself? Probably. I'm just not answering myself. All right, Dingo. Okay, bye. You got to be a rapper. You're a rapper. I know you are. Okay, bye. Not every day do waiting for. Not at all. Not at all, nurse. Very personal. Love you guys. God bless. Take good care of yourself. Justice for Nancy. Good night, everyone. God bless.